Hey everyone, Joseph here. I'm gonna take a look at the market, today's market. Today's market did pull back quite a bit, and most of the big names were down. And a lot of people always ask me, how can you get in on the downside? How do you know when to trigger and when it's a good time to go in based on price action? It's very similar to uh, the way we look at price action on the way up. You're looking at key levels. You're looking at if you're playing the open like I do. You're looking at the opening candle. You're looking at the breaking of key levels from the open and also key levels from the daily chart. So we'll take a look at a few instances, some instances where you could have clearly got in. We'll also take a look at the market to walk through what happened today and how you could have profited, and also take a look at any of the stocks that went counter trend to the market. Not everything went down, but the majority of things did go down. So we'll take a look and go over exactly how someone could have played some potential names for profits today, or what could have kept you on the sideline. So let's take a look. Okay, here you can see this is my watch list, and you can see everything's red here. The majority of stocks are red. Facebook was slightly green. Uh, WWE was green. Look at Google up $22. If you take a look at Google, um, it was very choppy in the morning. See, this we're looking at the 5 minute chart. So you see, Google made a strong move in the morning. The first candle and broke up. So when it broke up, you notice it didn't close at the high. It actually closed towards the lower end. So that could have signaled um, someone to become more cautious than bullish. And another signal would be, you see, look at this first candle had the majority of the volume was very strong, and it was mostly green. However, the second candle was not even close to this first candle. It was about halfway or a little below halfway. And then look at the price action here. Usually you would um, expect to enter on a stronger candle, but this ended up more like a doji that closed towards the bottom of the range. Next candle was red, which is a pause candle, because it did stay up in the upper range. But then once it breaks this guy right here, then that's a signal that it may chop for quite for more time, or maybe it'll go to downside. So look at what happened here. This is also a key level to look at. First candle of the day. Look what price did. Went up, try and test new highs. We'll try and test a high up here. Got rejected. Pulled back to look the same key level here, where the low of this first candle, and also same area where it closed, where it was trading towards the end of yesterday. So notice price just chopped around right here, and this level held as support. Then you saw a bounce, saw a pretty strong bounce. So here you could have said, okay, this is a strong candle. It closed above the 8 EMA and the 3 EMA. If it breaks above here, that's where you could have entered. And you could have ridden it as long as it stayed above this 8 EMA here. And it actually stayed up for quite some time. You can see from the entry candle here of the entry candle at 7:25 in the morning, or you could have waited for a stronger confirmation here, which is 7:30. From 7:30 all the way to 8:45, it just chopped around, and here's where you should have taken some profits if you got in, because now it's just chopping. It already made one move, pulled back to the ADMA, and then made a strong move. This is called continuation here. And usually taking profits on the way up is a good idea because it's more liquid, it's easier to get out. And if you choose to stay in, I generally stay in until it stops, until the stock stops moving up. It pulled back to the ADMA, made another move, but notice how it stalled in this area. You always want to pay attention to where price action stalls. Where it stalls, that means it's either consolidating for the next move up, or it's consolidating for the next move down, or maybe it's just going to consolidate for the rest of the day. So you want to pay special attention when stocks tend to consolidate here and they stop moving up or down, because the next thing they will do is eventually make a move. So if it were to consolidate for the rest of the day, then you can eyeball it for tomorrow for a potential move. Stocks never stay like this. They have to go up, they move up, move down, consolidate, move up, move down, consolidate, move up, pull back, move back up. They're always moving, and they never stay in this state for a very, very long time, especially if you're looking at the 5-minute chart. You can see what it did. It made a strong move, stalled, and pulled back, and then pulled back some more. Here's a key level here, because this was the first move up. You could have taken note of that. Once it broke on this candle, you could have got in. But notice what happened here. At this level where it paused and then it broke out, you can see it paused again here, and then made a move down. Once it cleared this closing, these candles, that's when to get in for the downside. So it's all about looking at price action, key levels for the day, and also key levels on the daily. So let's take a look at some other action here. Let's look at Etsy. So Etsy, it made a move here. It was actually down $10.51 for the day. So, how would you have gotten in on this action? Well, we look at the first candle was a pretty good candle. It was green. It was a trend candle. But we see no follow through on third candle. So what happens here? Here's where it closed for the day. Here's where the first candle closed. At this level here, which is 207. So once price breaks this level, you could have gotten in, or you could have waited for continuation. So here was 207. I'll move down to 202. That's a $5 move right here. And then it continued lower to this key level here of 197. So from 207 to 197. That's in the first 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes of trading, 20, 25 to 35 minutes of trading, you could have got in, been done for the day. Notice these key levels here. See, it went, tagged this key level here, then bounced. Tagged this key level again. And if you could have set an automatic trigger to get in here at this key level, if it breaks, you could have got in from 196, wrote it down to 192, another $4 move. Then it went down lower to 186. So there were a couple of ways you could have got in and played Etsy. CMG, Chipotle was also one that had some pretty straightforward down moves here. So here's another 5-minute chart. You see this is the first candle, second candle, third candle, nothing going on. But you notice how it didn't trade up or down, just stopped. Price paused here. Actually, okay, so price paused right here. So this is something to take note of. And not only for this stock, but whenever you're looking at price action in general, let's just see what happened here. Okay, so nothing going on here. First, second, third candle. We're looking at 13.96 on Chipotle. When price breaks below here and you see momentum start to pick up, that's when to get in. You could have got in. This key level here would have been your stop, or maybe your stop would have been a little higher to 1409 to just to give it some room. But that's how you would have got in. Pause here, break of this key level, downward move. So let's say you missed this one. Here's the close here is 1376. Price breaks here, that's your entry. See, right here. That would have been from 1374 down to 1351. A pretty sizable move here in the first 20-30 minutes of the day. So you can see there are multiple options, multiple opportunities here that you could have got in just looking at the price action, just paying attention to key levels. See, this level wasn't even here. This was a key level from the prior day, but just watching the price action, what is it doing, and paying attention to momentum, volume, and then the overall sentiment of the market. You see the sentiment here was red. The market was pulling back. The majority of stocks were pulling back. So you could have been slightly more confident when a stock did pull back, such as Chipotle, has a lot of liquidity, and when the overall markets are down. So you could be more bearish than you are bullish. And the fact that it stayed below the 8 EMA, you see here it could not break above the 8 EMA is another signal. So you had a few signals combined, is pointing in the downward direction. And last one I want to take a look at, let's look at NVDA. So NVIDIA, similar story here. You see we had a green candle in the morning, right at the open, right around the same ranges as yesterday's close. So I would have taken note of this here. Okay, so you take note of this level. Chops around at this level. This is somewhat support, temporary support or short-term support. So once price breaks this level, if you see it continuing down, the sentiment of the market is down, it's pulling back, you could definitely get in on this trade and ride it down until the breaks or until there's a pause in price action, which there was here. Here's where you would have gotten out around here. And we're looking at from 511 to 505, a $6 move. And then it continued lower here to 496. So that would have been a profitable trade and pretty straightforward price action. Way to get in and way to get out. And wanted to also show, look, there were a few gainers here. Looking at BURL gapped up significantly. Look at this gap up here from 277, gapped up 255 to 277. Here you go. There's opening candle, alpha gap up, green volume, good follow through volume could have been in here. You couldn't have caught this. There's no way you would have caught that unless you were already invested, but this did show follow through. So you can see here from 282 up to 287, a $5 move, chopped around back to the 3 EMA and then continue higher all the way up to 292 and 296. From 282, easily a $10 move and more, depending on when you stayed in. Then look what it did the rest of the day. Chopped around and moved up, created a gap from the 8 EMA, chopped back and just consolidated the rest of the day because look at the size of the move it made. And again, going back to the morning, this is right at the open. First hour of trading, most liquid, uh, best time to get in and get out, in my opinion. And you leave runners if you see the stock is still trending higher. So that's the update for today. Overall markets were down. Looks like futures are still down. So we'll see how price reacts tomorrow. But you can see there were also a few stocks here that were also up. So just because the general market's down, you see the powerful gain stock scanner still identified some key stocks that had major gains. This one had a $28 gain, most of it coming from the open, but you see there was good follow through at the end here. So that's all I got for today. I'll be back trying to make it back tomorrow. If not, then I may post a video on the weekend and then early next week to start off the week and provide some commentary on what's going on with the market and some of the key levels and stocks and how you too could have profited as well when price is going up or down. Thanks.